Hi, everyone. My name is Kim, and I'm the founder and creator of Expat Mama. Through these podcast interviews that are both in English and Spanish, on the audio version, as well as the new YouTube channel, we educate people what it's like to be an expat, someone who's left their native country to live in another country. Today, my guest is Jennifer Lopez, who's originally from Texas. Is that correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, it is. That's correct.
Okay. So you were born in Mexico City and you are back in the place
Right.
of your birth after living in the US. So I'm really excited to interview you today and welcome, Jennifer. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm better now. Better than most days.
Better than most days. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up, what kind of upbringing you had?
Yeah, of course. So, before going to the US, I was in Mexico maybe till I was maybe 6 years old. I do recall some schooling and, being with family and being in Mexico.
Mhm.
Then after that, we made the journey to the US. Me and my mother, and it was my sister and my brother at the time.
Okay. How old were you when you went to the US?
I was about 6, maybe 7, or about to be 7.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
that's why
sure,
I,
go ahead.
yeah, that's why I feel that it's like I don't know much in Mexico anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You didn't
Yeah, I
grow
was
up in
in the States.
Mexico.
No, I didn't. Uh-huh.
So let's hear your story about how you came to live in Mexico City. Just start with the circumstances in the US and don't hold anything back, whatever you're willing to share, we're willing to hear.
Right, right. So I had an issue with immigration, so I was doing a court with them, and thankfully it wasn't nothing criminal or anything. I Everything was good on that side. So I mean, I was able to come to an agreement with the judge with that. So I have no felonies, no record, no nothing. Like most people that do have to come back because of situations like that. So I'm thankful for that, and I figure it would just be the easiest way. I mean, because the way immigration was cracking down then, I don't know about now, but I know the way that they were doing things then was like that. I mean, I saw a lot of cases in that place of people that, I mean, they had permits, they were okay, they were not doing nothing, they were just living life, trying to build a better life for themselves. And I would be like, oh, like, what happened? Like, why are you in this situation? Oh, we talk about it, right?
Mhm.
They were like, oh, my neighbor reported me to immigration.
Oh.
It will be things like that.
Mhm.
So
And in
it's
your
not
case?
always criminals. In my case, oh yeah, so we got held up. A cop late at night, me and a friend, and they noticed that I was not a citizen, so they put an immigration hold on me. Yeah, they were actually saying that it was a private premises. We couldn't be parked there. That was their excuse, and they just arrested us on that. And he smokes weed. Believe it or not, I don't smoke weed, so I was
Okay.
kind of like, damn, like,
So is it safe to say you were with an American citizen in the car? You told me this
yes,
earlier. And
I was.
he had been smoking weed. So when you got pulled over, they smelled that and you were just with the wrong person at the wrong time.
Yeah, because you know
Okay.
what? We weren't even driving. It was pulled over. The keys were not in the ignition. So, from my understanding, like, I mean, I study law for the same reason. I like try
Oh,
to like know what my rights as a
yeah, yeah.
as an immigrant. Yeah, you have to know your rights. So, I mean, I knew that the way that things were being done weren't the right way, but it was my word against the cops. So, I mean, come on.
Of course.
He was just like, nah, you're getting arrested. Like, you guys can bond out once we look at. I guess maybe they wanted to look in the car. I don't know what their deal was, their real deal was, but so I was like, wait, I mean, I'm in the passenger side. I haven't been smoking weed. I mean, if you guys want to run tests later or something, or right now, I mean, can I just go home? No, no, blah blah blah. It doesn't work that way. So I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
he bonded out whilst I got put on an immigration hold
Okay.
once they
Can you explain why they said or what you understand why you were put on an immigration hold?
I have no clue why they did that. I mean, honestly, I haven't had any issues with the laws before. I didn't have any arrest warrants or anything like that. So, like I said, I knew that what the way they were doing things just wasn't the correct way, you know?
Mhm. But
So,
you weren't a full out
yeah,
citizen. What was going on with your paperwork in the US at that time? And what year are we talking about?
2019, I was wanting to do a process of DACA, but they had actually, when I was about to start my process, which was like in 20, maybe 2016, 2014, Trump came into office and that got trumped. No pun intended. Anyways, yeah, because they stopped a lot of
Which
things.
means can you interpret that? Because there's a lot of our listener, we're going to have people from Canada that are listening to this. We have people that
Yeah,
just simply need some education
yeah, of course.
how things.
So whenever Trump came into office, my lawyer advised that it was not the best time to continue the process because they were rejecting all the applications. I think there was really not, they weren't even, yeah, you could apply, but they were rejecting everything and you had to restart all over. So he's like, you know what, you're just gonna have to wait and see if he calms down and there's a way to start reapplying, which I don't think there was. I think you could only renew at the time. And I think recently, when he just got out of office, they started taking those applications in again, actually, I want to say, but they're still not, instead of it being a 2-year permit, it's a 1-year permit now. So it's a lot of things that change, you know?
Mhm.
And maybe I just did it a little too late, you know? Maybe it's one of those things you never think it's going to happen to you, I guess. And,
Well,
you know, now
let me back up just a little bit. So when you first came to the US, were you and your family living undocumented in the US? Is that what was going on? And you went to school and there wasn't an issue until then, or what was going on exactly as far as that goes?
oh, yeah, it was under a visa.
Okay, it was under a visa, so you overstayed, so you were, is that
I
what?
was actually renewing from Texas without an issue, so I didn't see an issue since
Oh,
we were there.
right.
There was a different way do the they were letting you do the paperwork from the Mexican consulates.
Oh,
So
nice.
now they're
Okay.
not. Now
Hmm.
they're not, and
So the rules changed, basically.
not just that, but I mean, just the situation that I happened to be in, it wasn't just as easy as like, hey, well, just go ahead and do that again. They're like, you know what? Like the only way you could do that again is just renew it from Mexico.
Okay, interesting.
Either that or be detained and see what can happen. But I was like, detained how long? And the judge told me 9 months to a year. That's
Oh,
too long.
and
Yeah.
detained
So,
how? In a center and where you're in there for up to 9 months or?
oh, no, no, no. I was, no, you know what? Let's go. When can I leave? I'm ready to go.
Okay. So
I
your
can't do the locked
process,
up thing. I don't
yeah.
know how people do it.
So you self-deported to Mexico before you started to have some issues, basically, right? In a nutshell.
Some bigger issues, basically. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you ended up in Mexico City. And what does that look like, for example? What does your life look like in Mexico City?
Well, it's just regular. I mean, I'm not locked up at least.
There you go.
That's what I
Yeah,
was thinking
that's
about. Like, I don't
huge.
want to be like, exactly, yeah.
Okay. So you went to go live with someone, you went to live alone. What were your living conditions when you came to Mexico that you really had it hard with?
I Yeah, actually, whenever I got here, I call an aunt. I have some family here, right?
Mm-hmm. And then?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. So I lived with her for maybe maybe 3 months at most.
Okay, with
This
your
was in
aunt,
February of last year, 2020, right?
2020, February 2020, you
Yeah.
went to go live with an
Uh-huh.
aunt. Uh-huh.
So it was okay. I mean, I was just trying to get my process started, which I did. I started it in March of 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they looked at the paperwork. They said that I was good to go. I just needed to wait for an interview date, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy. I was like, okay, great. This shouldn't take longer than a year. Thank God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just ready. I'm still ready to get out. So then around I think like a week or two after is when COVID hit really hard here in Mexico.
Yep.
And were you here? Were you here? I know you live here, but were you here then, or were you out of?
Yes, I was. We actually ended up going back to the States, to Northern California. I'm from Utah, but we ended up going, my kids and I ended up going to Northern California for 9 months during COVID, which
Right.
I think ended up being a big mistake because COVID was much worse in California than at least in the small town where I live in the Lake Chapala areas. But
Right.
but
Okay.
in your case, yeah, I'm in Lake Chapala. But in your case, you're in Mexico City with one of the world's largest populations. So,
I was actually in the state. I didn't. I
oh, you
didn't
were in the
get.
States.
Whenever I got here, I got to Mexico City. Right.
Mhm.
Like I got to Mexico City, but after Mexico, like my aunt picked me up and I went back to her place, which was
Oh,
in Mexico State.
okay, got it.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't like Mexico State much. It's not as beautiful as the city. I love the city actually. So I try to look at the good things, and when it comes to
Mhm.
that, I do love the city. So yeah, I lived with them for about 2 3 months, and COVID hit. Then embassy shut down completely. Like no interviews, everything's being backed up, blah blah blah.
You're talking about the US Embassy?
The U.S. embassy,
Yeah,
correct?
of course.
Right, and since they were putting it as a new process, it's not a renewal, it's a new process, right?
Oh,
Right now it's a new. So if you go on the US embassy right now, if any of you guys go on the US embassy right now, you can look and there's all types of visas given out right now, except new ones. No new process. Zero. So I'm
okay.
still everything has been getting backed up. I stay in touch with the person taking care of my process. I also stay updated on the site. And I mean, I looks like I'm still gonna be here towards the beginning of next year, yeah.
It looks
Because
like it. Yeah,
people are
unfortunately.
still getting
Yeah.
contagious. People are getting sick. Like I mean, this thing is very real, and it impacted a lot of people, everyone in different ways, I guess. But I feel like mine was like such a major way because I didn't, like I said, whenever I did, even when I did speak to the judge about it, he was like, you know, it's gonna take up to 6 months. As soon as you get there, start your process. As soon as
Mhm.
you get there, start your process, you're gonna be okay. Because I asked, I was like, hey, I want to know, am I gonna be okay to come back? Like at least on a visitors, or like my brother's actually from the U.S.
Okay,
I have one brother that's born in the, well, actually two, but the one that could do anything, the one that he just turned 21 last year. So
okay.
I asked about that, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, just talk to your lawyer, or just inform yourself." He's like, "You are more than capable to come back. You don't have nothing on your record. You're good, right?" So this is what the judge was telling me, and I was like, "Okay, great. It shouldn't. Hopefully, it doesn't take so long." But we're close to 2 years now, so I'm just kind of like, "Oh, come on."
Oh, yeah. No, you didn't expect the pandemic to hit. Nobody in their lifetime thought we'd have something like this. So that's slowed everything down, including just getting a regular passport. Everything's really dragging out right now. So once you got into Mexico, for example, what did you do like for work and stuff like that? What did your life
Oh,
look at that point? Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. You kind of freezed a little bit. What was that?
I'm sorry. Once you got into Mexico, how did you start earning money, getting some bit of normalcy into your life, things like that?
Right. So I had all my paperwork, all my Mexican documents, I had everything actually. I hear a
Mhm.
lot of people struggle with that when they get here, trying to get their paperwork together.
Yeah.
But
So,
I had everything. I had my Mexican passport, I had my birth certificate, I also have my my ID, my Mexican ID, my
mhm.
voter's card. I have that one. I got all those documents in the US actually, in
Okay.
the Mexican consulate. Yeah. So I came with all of that here, and after I saw 6 months, like after I saw like 4 months pass by, I was just like, okay, you gotta start working, because I mean,
Mhm.
I had a little savings, right?
Mhm.
I had a little savings because I had whatever I needed to pay out to the embassy or whatever. I brought a little money, and then to survive on like maybe 4 6 months, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, I was running out of money. So I was like, okay, you need to
Yeah,
start working. This is gonna take longer than it seems. And I knew being bilingual, it was gonna be a little easier
yeah, yeah.
than just working a regular job, like at McDonald's or a restaurant. So I mean, I didn't study anything as far as like after high school. I did finish high school in the U.S. and that was it. I wasn't really a school person. I just started working. I was working in retail at the time. I was working for T-Mobile actually. I worked with them for almost 7 years before
Oh,
this
okay.
ordeal happened. So it was an okay little job. So I started looking into like bilingual jobs just online, and they were making a big deal about a RFC, social security number.
Mhm.
And it was a
Mhm.
little rough at first because I was kind of like, wait, I don't have one of those. How do I get one of those? And I would ask my family, and like nobody really had answers. And I'm like, you guys lived here your whole life. What do you mean? Like, what the hell? And actually, my uncle was like, oh, I don't think you'd be able to work here because blah blah blah. And I do have tattoos all over my arms. Maybe in the next interview I will show you guys.
Okay.
But my family was like, oh, you cannot work like that. You will never
Hmm.
get hired, you know? And I was just like, I thought that was like so many years ago when that stopped, you know? I don't know. It was weird, and I mean, I obviously knew that they didn't know what they were talking about. I was like, okay, sure, guys. So I just did things on my own mostly. I mean, I did have some help. Like I'm thankful that my aunt helped me out. That when I got there, I had somewhere to be, somewhere to stay for
Yeah.
a month or two. I was thankful for that. And then after that, I moved to out to a different aunt's place. Same in the state, because my cousin was moving out, so they had an extra room. So I didn't
Okay.
have to share a room anymore because I was sharing a room with my other aunt. She was like, "Oh, you can share with your cousins for now, blah blah blah, till you like figure something out." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, right?" Like I didn't really care. I just wanted to go home. Actually, I didn't care.
Mhm.
But it's always better to have like your own space. A little bit of a space for you. So yeah, I moved away to my other aunt's place, but then she was moving away to Hidalgo. She was like, "Hey, I'm moving away, so I don't know like what you want to do. Like you're welcome to come and stay with me still, but it's further out, from the city.
Mhm.
From here, yeah, it was like 3 hour drive, I think, from the city, like maybe two in car. I don't know.
Oh,
It was
that's
like before,
far.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it was far. I mean, and if you wanted to do it in like, if you wanted to come like on transportation, it was further. You know how that is. I don't know if you came to the city before. I'm sure you have.
Yeah,
Have you?
I've only been to Mexico City. It was the first place we landed when we came to Mexico in 2018. But we were only there for 2.5 days, but I mean, it's a huge city. So
Right.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
even
Of course.
imagine, yeah.
Right. So yeah, and this was I still wasn't working then at the time. So I was like, you know what, whatever, why not? Might as well just see different places in Mexico. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I moved out there, and it was like a ghost town. Goodness, I hated it out there. It was really bad. The signal was terrible. It was just bad. And
Mhm.
they're like low income people, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
nothing wrong with that. I don't mind. I don't mind. Nothing wrong with that, right? Like if I really needed to do something or wanted to do whatever I needed to do, I would just do it on my own. It's fine. I wasn't like, oh my god, like pay for me. No, like that just feels weird. I don't know. My mom never like, she didn't raise me like that. She's like, you everywhere you go, you gotta like help out, like
Yeah.
wherever you're at, or
Mhm.
comply, or if you're renting somewhere, comply with the rules, if whatever, right? So I always try to be as like so you don't notice me. I try to be
Self-sufficient,
okay.
yeah, and just kind of blend in, yeah. Mhm.
I tried to, yeah. So, but it was just bad, like the ghost town, and then I just felt kind of weird because she was just lit. I was sleeping in her living room. Come on, so I was kind of like, okay. So that wasn't like it just got kind of weird. It had been like 2 3 months almost, and then her husband was kind of weird, like maybe he didn't like the idea. And then I don't know, it was like so much drama. Like you know what, I could go on forever. It would take so long for me to even tell you that whole story. It was just bad. It just got bad. Like I said in the questionnaire, it got bad to the point that I just had to go. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go. and I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything, right? I mean, I had some money, I had a little bit of savings left, and also one of my best friends, he helped me out. He helped me out. He's like, oh, like, how much do you need? Like, oh, I need $100. I'll send them to you. You know.
Nice. So then
So
what
yeah, he helped
happened?
me out.
Okay, so you
I
made
moved
a
to
change there. Mhm,
I moved to back to the state. So I was closer to the city again. I was like an hour out from the city, right, on transportation.
mhm,
So it
mhm.
wasn't bad anymore. As bad anymore. I mean, you compared 3 hours, 1 hour, you're like, okay, you know.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
And like
Uh-huh.
getting a bus, taking a bus, taking a train, and you just gotta take a train now. So I moved out there. I was there maybe a month and a half, but the landlord there was just weird. Like it was like a home. She was renting like the rooms in that home. It was like a separate home. She didn't live there or anything, but it seemed like she lived there. I was confused. I was like, "You're here every day, lady. What the heck?" Because she was really good friends with one of the renters, right? I guess,
Mhm,
and they would always be there and like 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 it would feel like I couldn't do anything. I mean, not that I wanted to throw a party or nothing crazy, but like you couldn't even like go to the bathroom without bumping into her, and I'm just like, god dang it, like. And she's
mhm.
like, hey, and it was shared, you had to share the cleaning of the home. And not that I don't like to clean, but I don't like to clean after eight people when I'm just
Oh,
one
yeah.
person, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
Not just that, but
Okay.
there would be rooms that had couples, and it's like they should do double the cleaning. It's two people, right? It was just little things like that that I didn't like, and I knew that it was gonna be like that until I made a change again, and try to just find somewhere that I would be all right, just because
Mhm.
nowhere's perfect.
Of
So,
course.
so it just got. She said son to me, the landlord, and I told her off. I don't know if I was rude, maybe I was, I don't know, but she was like, you know what, like maybe I just need you to leave, and I was like, and that's completely fine. I'm gonna need my deposit because I'm gonna have to go deposit at a
Mm.
different place now. Yeah, she was not budging. She did not want to give me that money. She gave me half of that money and she was like, well, you can have half, just like you did me. Like, you only gave me half and then you gave me the other half the week after. Obviously, she was not planning to give me that other half back.
So you never
And
got
yeah,
the other half back?
she never gave me that money back. Yeah, she kept the other half. And I was like, okay, whatever, I guess you move on. I mean, can't do much about it. Not
Yeah.
here. I mean, even if you have a contract, it's a lawyer, court fees. It's crazy. It's pointless. I
Mhm.
was like, you know
Yeah.
what? It's cheaper if she just keeps the money, less stress.
Yeah. Yeah. Less stress, definitely. Mhm.
Yeah. So then I moved to Gustavo Madero. I finally moved into the city. I was in Mexico City then, and this was what, last year around, maybe. Let me think. Probably. I'm actually looking at my calendar right now. I feel like so much goes on that I forget.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like in July or something like that. Like around July was whenever I was finally in the city, July of last year. Like actually living in the city without having to take a train or anything. So I was there maybe a month, but the way that the I just didn't like the place because it was she was I was only renting the room. I had no kitchen access, no fridge access. It was crazy. So I mean,
Mhm.
I didn't like that. And then the lady had two dogs, and it was a pit bull and a Rottweiler.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I love dogs, they're sweet, but I know just certain species are a little more, a little off on that side of attacking. Because
Yeah.
it happened there. Like, I was walking by the kitchen and the dog was there and he just bit my fucking foot. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Like he caught some of my foot on his mouth. I mean, I guess he let go. He wasn't really trying to bite me, maybe kind of like a nervous bite. I don't know what it was, but I mean, luckily I didn't get hurt. But I was like, hey, I think I need to get out of here before it gets bad. Maybe something like that can happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just didn't like that. I didn't have access to a lot of things. I just wasn't, and I still had to take a train to work. It was like a 40-minute train, so I was like, hey, I need to maybe if I can get something closer. But the thing was that my job was in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Mexico City. Everything was so expensive around my job, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was looking, 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 and I couldn't find anything. And then I finally bumped into a fairly good deal, like 2 blocks from my job. And I was like, that looks kind of weird. I don't think that's like real. So, I called up the phone number on the post, and an older lady answered. She was, telling me, yeah, I'm renting this room in this house, blah blah blah. She was like, I actually live next door, but this is my extra home, and I rent it, right? So yeah, I went to go look at the room or whatever, and I was like, yes, I'll take it. And I left like half the rent down, and I was like, let me just get my stuff moved out by the weekend when I'm off, because I was working right at the time. During the week, I worked during the week. So yeah, that was like in September of last year.
Okay.
September, a little bit at the end of August, maybe. That I actually came and was living in the heart of the city. It's expensive, really crazy expensive to live around here, because I've looked at different apartments, or maybe another room, maybe like to kind of like move a little bit around.
Mhm.
But if I move around, I probably have to move out, like further out of the city. So I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna be okay. I mean, there's always gonna be something, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I just try to comply and try to like just I stay to myself. I stay to myself a lot. I don't talk to any of these girls here. I haven't met any expats in this home, but I know there's a lot of expats all over the neighborhood.
And
I
what
see a lot of them.
neighborhood is that?
It's called Roma Norte.
Roma Norte. Okay. I've heard that's a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I really like it. Like I said, I try to look at the good things in that. That was a good thing. I mean, I felt like, man, I landed in a soft spot after so long. Thank God. I was so happy that I found this place.
And you
Um,
say that you're now working for a US company. Can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah. They're based in Arizona. They're a mortgage company. So what they do, they're investors. And I work in the area of I do the cold calling for their investments to see if
Oh,
any of the property owners want to sell their property. Yeah, and there I'm making it's $4 an hour plus commission.
okay.
So if they closed on a lead, it's a $200 commission.
Oh, okay. And how's that going?
Yeah, it's okay. I like it because it's just like I said, it's not the best money, right? It's not crazy money, because when I was working with the first company, I was making, I think, like around $1,000 a month,
Okay.
and that's big money here.
It is,
Um,
most definitely.
so, or at least pretty good money.
Mhm.
I was making from like 800, from like 500 at the least, no, like 800 at the least to 20 after like they got crazy rules here for jobs in Mexican companies. So I like working with these guys. They're laid back. They're just like, come in, do your job. If you run into any issues, or like if let's say if I can't come in because whatever reason, something my lights out, because I got that happens a lot here in Mexico. I don't know,
Yes,
like
it
the lights go
does.
out, like yeah, exactly. So I didn't know about that till I started like that started happening. It happened in I think in every home I've rented, that the lights just go out, and I'm like, huh, what? So these guys are really laid back. They're like, if for whatever reason you can't make it, or like even if you need a week or two off for whatever situation you're going through, just let us know. You're good. And that's it.
Nice.
Like they're laid back people. They're like I really really appreciate that about them, because it gives you that comfort, that
Yeah.
you don't feel all like stressed about it.
Mhm. So you
So
said
that's what
it's
I
a
like
work,
about this
excuse
job.
me, it's a work from home position, but you're saying that the lights go out quite a bit. So sometimes you'll just go to the office, which is about 2 blocks away, right?
No, the 2 blocks away office is my last job. I don't work
Oh,
with
that's
them
the last
anymore.
one. I'm sorry. I got confused.
They're a Mexican company. Like they're
Oh,
Mexican company, but I mean they have clients from all over the US.
got it.
And
Okay.
that's whenever the bilingual agents come in. Yeah. Uh-huh. So no. What if my lights go out maybe like an hour or two? I mean, I get deducted, but I mean, I don't get a penalty, you know? Like,
That's nice.
oh, that's the third time that happens, you're fired. Like at the other job, that is kind of like, oh, you're late 3 times, even if it's by seconds, you can be 30 seconds late together and you lose your day. How does that work? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I never
So,
had that happen.
so it's been a little bit of a shock to work for a Mexican company because you were kind of used to the American way of work. So you found that
Which
to
was
be a
laid
little
back.
bit, yeah, yeah, that's nice. So
Yeah.
what about, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Go ahead. No, 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 no. Go ahead.
When we're with audio, it's a little bit harder because I can't see what's going on, you know? So, okay,
I
so,
understand.
yeah,
You
so,
still want to do the Spanish one though, right?
we'll still probably want to do the Spanish one later on. Not today, but another day, yeah. So what
Yeah, of
about
course.
hobbies outside of work? What do you do, for example? Do you have any hobbies or interests?
I do, but like I said, since I've been here, I've just been like in that depression train, you know?
Mhm.
I would just I just stay home to myself as much as I can. Until recently, I mean, plus there wasn't nothing really going on because COVID. No places open, no movie theaters, no music, nothing open because everything is in big crowds, you know, all those type of things are with a lot of people, you know?
Right.
So I was just really staying to myself. I listen to music or if I can, I'll watch movies. I like to watch movies from time to time. But in like a normal state, like, you know, before COVID, I like to travel a lot. I like to go out to concerts and yeah, I did actually a concert here before COVID hit. They had the EDC festival, so I did a day on that. That was interesting because I went alone, and you can only imagine like most people won't do that. Like you just got to Mexico and you just going like, you know,
Mhm.
like alone. You know, I didn't go, I went by myself. It was fun. I went by myself. So and then I've been to Playa. I went to Playa last time, and it was really good as well. In April that was whenever I stopped working. Whenever I
Mhm.
went out of a job, actually, I was like, okay, why not take a vacation? I
Let's
guess.
go to Playa de Carmen, yeah.
Yeah.
When you say playa here in Mexico, that definitely means Playa de Carmen.
Playa del Carmen. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
For
Yeah,
some
so I
people that
did
wouldn't
that. That was
know.
fun.
Mhm.
I liked it.
So,
I visited Isla too, Isla Mujeres. It was beautiful.
oh yeah, we've
Yeah.
been there. That was one of our funnest days, being on a catamaran from Cancun going
So
to
it's something that I
Isla
would have
Mujeres.
never gotten to do
Yeah.
if I wouldn't have been here. Because I mean, I never looked into leaving the country. Not to mention, you can't leave the country like under the permit for the DACA. You can't leave the country. It's just a permit to be in the country. You cannot leave the country. It's just a lot of things that you're deprived from, you know, for not
Mhm.
being a resident or a citizen. Yeah. hmm
Exactly, exactly.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, for example, the culture shock of going there because I mean, you were born in Mexico City, but you were raised in the US for the most part. So I asked you here in the questionnaire, what's that been like, for example? What are some things that have taken some getting used to that, because, you're about 2 years in now, right? Since you came back to
Oh,
Mexico.
yeah.
What are some things that you can tell the good and bad, of some
Um,
differences between the two countries?
you know what everybody loves about Mexico, right? It's so cheap. That's what everybody loves
Yeah,
about Mexico.
yeah, for sure.
Is that
Mhm.
am I correct about that?
Oh,
I
yeah,
want to
for
say
sure.
right. So it is cheap if you're making a fairly good amount of money. Like
Yep.
whenever I got here with my little savings, I was like, I'll be okay for a bit, you know?
Uh-huh.
Right. So I mean, I was able to like, like I said, I took that little, I went to that festival there, and everybody's like, you just bought that ticket. That was like $50. Oh my God, this so much money out here, you know?
Mhm.
60,
Yeah,
fifty
that
dollars
is a
is
lot of
just
money.
huge out
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was kind of like thinking it's just $50. It's cheaper than the US. That's how I looked at it. I'm like, yay, fun. Like
But it
kind of
really
like
just
just going
depends
around.
on what you're used to, what you're used to and what you
Yeah,
have to compare to. Whereas, people in Mexico would like, oh, that's a fortune,
right.
that.
Yeah, so to me I was thinking no, not like oh my God, it's nothing. No, I didn't see it that way, but just it was just so easy to do a lot of things like, oh, you want to go here? You know what I would do? I would just take an Uber to the city. Like, who cares? Oh my God, that's 300 pesos. And I'm just like, who cares? I mean, it's $15. What? It's good.
And
You
why do
know,
you
people,
think why do you think they view things so differently than you, for example?
I'm guessing because obviously one, they were not making as much as we we're making in the US, so you just, they think that's really good money. But what a lot of people don't understand is you make dollars, you spend in dollars. I think my mother's rent right now is running like 1,200 in the
Yeah.
US, in Texas, and that's after like bills and stuff. Even my dog pays the rent, which I miss him so much. I'm thinking I want to get him out here. Like if by February I don't have something going on to go home with the
Mhm.
embassy, like if I have no answer still, I'm gonna have to bring him out here because he's
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to bring my dog out here. And yeah, so with this culture shock, um, and I didn't realize it till I stopped after I stopped working in April of this year, because I was working for that Mexican company that I mentioned. And the money was okay still, so I was still going here, going there, going to whatever, just little things that whatever I wanted to do, I was never deprived. So that's why I try to not be like, oh my god, like this is horrible. It's not horrible, but it's just hard, like being away from home.
Yeah. Well, what can you share with our listeners, for example, what's the typical daily wage for a Mexican in
I think
Mexico?
I heard maybe the average, what I've heard a lot, 200 pesos a
Okay,
day,
so 200 is
10 hours.
$10 a day. Okay. So the people that are listening to this, North Americans, oh my gosh, can you live on that? The obvious
I
answer
don't know
is
how they do it.
exactly.
That
I'm here and I don't know, I can't do it. I'm not used to living on
that's
such,
my answer. I don't
yeah,
know how they do it,
I
because
don't know how they do it.
even then, like, I've never had to do it because I have the ability of English. I
Right.
have that second language, and it's just been such a big help, huge help actually.
And actually that might be higher because you're in Mexico City than some places around Mexico. I've heard in some cases that it's less than that. So
Yeah,
the
I was
obvious
actually
answer is
work.
no, I cannot live on that.
Yeah, I was working actually with two different other companies before I landed this job with these Arizona people. I was working with another Mexican company, and I was making there maybe $2.40 an hour. That was
Yeah,
terrible.
that is
And
terrible.
then sometimes they wouldn't pay it. They would like cut, like, you work 45 hours and they only pay you 32, and you're like, what the heck?
Oh my goodness. So would you
Like,
say
just
that
crooked, it was
crooked?
crooked.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lack of ethics for sure,
So
and
they
like,
were making the big money because I was actually working for a Verizon campaign. Verizon
mhm,
is huge, and
yeah,
they can damn well pay more than $2.50
yeah, for sure.
to their bilingual agents.
Yeah.
So I left that job, and then I started to look into this other job from these guys they were based in California, but the person doing all their arrangements, he was crooked. So he wasn't paying training, he wasn't paying certain hours. Whoever was taking care of their money was crooked, He
Mhm.
was keeping the money. So his job post would be like $5 an hour, which is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad here, It's
Yeah,
it's fair, it's better than most. So I was like, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. And I've worked with this guy in the past, right?
right.
I worked in the first company that I worked with. So I would figure like, I mean, what could go wrong? Because I'm really skeptical about freelancer jobs, because you can get them, you can work a week or two, and then they just disappear. They don't pay
Right,
you.
right.
You did the work, they don't pay you, whatever. So I heard a lot of those stories. But since I knew this guy from work, I figured I don't think he's gonna do this, right? So I was there, and he was crooked as can be, actually. He
Oh,
was
that's too
like, no
bad.
trainings paid, and then my hours were missing, and then we did some tests for like the certification for the job. Then he took like a week or whatever, and then he's like, I was thinking, like, I was already working by then. I'm like, sir, you gotta hurry up because I need money. Like, I can't just be waiting to see if you're gonna hire me. And he messages me out of nowhere like, oh, I haven't forgot about you. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, man, I'm already working, I couldn't wait, I'm already at work. I was already working with these people from Arizona, right? So I was like, oh, don't worry about it, I'm already working. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't pass that. You needed to take another test anyways." And I was like, "Yeah, but come on, you taking a week and a half to let us know what's going on? That's not right because in a week a lot can happen. You need money, you need to eat, you need to pay your rent." So I,
Exactly. And that's another thing that for me has taken a while to get used to. This is my third country. We've lived in also in Argentina, but
oh, fun.
yeah, but they
I think it's
actually,
always fun when you can go back home. I mean, it's always
oh
fun
yeah,
when you
for
can go back
sure.
home.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's not my home. I'm from the US, but I lived in Argentina for
That's what
almost
I'm saying.
8 years. But
Uh-huh.
here to get things done, they just take forever a lot of the time to get things done. They don't make quick decisions. They drag their feet. And that I think has been the
What's that
biggest,
about?
that exactly. I mean, it just, why do you have to take so long, like to get anything done? And so, I mean, I love living in Mexico. I only have two complaints, and that's that it's mostly a cash system and that they take forever to get anything done. When something really happens, like you need a plumber now, and they just don't.
Right.
But really, otherwise, I don't have any other issues really. That I find
Yeah,
that
but
it's
for
a
me
very
were those too
kind
big.
culture. What's that?
For me were those two like big issues, like not issues, but like I was like, what? That's real? Like you're really paying $2 an hour?
Yeah,
What the heck is wrong with you
yeah,
people?
yeah.
And then people would think that's actually great because I mean you're making 200 pesos and now you're making 400 a day.
Right,
People would say, oh,
right.
that's really good pay.
For
But
for
I'm just like, that
Mexico,
is
for
terrible.
Mexico, it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm. Exactly.
And that's why they
So,
take advantage because you're still making
mhm,
more than the average worker. So it's like, why are you complaining?
exactly.
You're still making more money.
Right. And
Crazy to
that's
me.
and that's
But
unfortunate. Yeah. But you have something to
and I
compare
see,
to. They don't.
yeah, yeah, that's why I try not to like really, like I said, most people don't understand unless you're from the US as well or Canada. People don't they want to get what I'm saying.
Exactly. Well, things like that are illegal to do. There's
Oh,
things you can do something
uh-huh.
about it in the US, whereas a lot of times in Latin America, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna walk out of here, you're gonna quit. I mean, that's the only other option. So
Right.
there's a lot of
Which I
legal.
have because I see a lot of people that just take it. They're like, they're just okay. They're like, well, I have no choice. I have a family. I have
Right,
no
exactly,
choice. I
because they
have
don't have a
this.
choice. And which is very unfortunate. And that's what
So
happens in
that's
developing countries. Yeah.
because
Mhm.
at first I wouldn't understand, and then it would be because they didn't have a choice. And I had the choice to be like, you know what, f y'all, I'm going. I got some savings. Bye.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
And
Mhm.
not everybody has that option. So that's why I like try to, be to empathize with other situations. Don't because I used to think of it like that's stupid. Why would you stay? Like, oh, I have a
You
family.
didn't realize how
My
privileged you had lived, right? Until you saw the other side of the coin, maybe. Huh?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And it feels like everyone's always out to get you. Like
Here
everybody always wants
in
to make an
Mexico.
extra buck. They see you speak
Mm.
English, they think I'm loaded. I'm not loaded.
Oh, that seems to be the perception towards people that speak English and foreigners in general. Yeah. Mhm.
Why?
Exactly.
And
It's just a
I just
stereotype that it's been really hard for people to get past. Mhm.
yeah, like that happened in Playa. Till I started speaking English, they didn't load me on that boat.
No.
I'm like, really? I have to start speaking English to get service around here?
Well, that
Goodness,
you realize
terrible.
that Playa del Carmen and Cancun are big tourist traps. That
So yeah, if you're not
they
speaking
harass
English,
you
we're
and
not
follow you
talking.
around in the street there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay,
And
so I
Playa
guess I
del
got
Carmen is
lucky.
where I really saw it. Yeah, more than Cancun. So yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. But
Anyway,
yeah, for me it was just that the pay. Hmm.
yeah, so there is a perception about how they view people who have lived in other countries. They think we are loaded,
Uh-huh.
even though we may not be, which I'm not either. I mean, but anyway, thank you so much for your time. How can people contact you if you want to be contacted?
Oh yeah, of course. On my Facebook, it's Jennifer Lopez, just like that. It's really hard to find me unless we have like mutuals. But
Mhm.
it's gonna. I have the picture with my dog in it.
Okay,
There's probably
perfect.
more Jennifer Lopez with a dog, but I mean, it's just it'll say I don't know if my public information shows, but if it does, it should say hometown Fort Worth, Texas,
Oh,
and then it'll
okay.
say living in Mexico City.
What we
That's
can
what it
do
would
is we
say.
can put a link in the description box. And what about Instagram? You put that on the questionnaire too. Do
Oh
you
yeah,
use
yeah.
it?
It's Jennifer, like double N, just like it sounds. Fenty, Fenty, and then an
Perfect.
underscore. And it would
Okay.
just be a picture with me with shades.
With
That's what you would
shades
see.
on.
That one you
Okay.
can find so quick.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest today, and I hope to keep in touch with you. Maybe we'll do an interview in Spanish. And you're welcome to
Yeah,
come
it was
visit
fun
us
chatting.
here in Chapala. For those of you who are listening, don't forget to subscribe, as we feature a lot of interesting perspectives in these podcast interviews in both English and Spanish. So thanks a lot, Jennifer Lopez, for coming on today. And
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I do appreciate it.
Very welcome. It was my pleasure.
Thank
Okay.
you. You have a good day. Bye.
Bye.